I'm Patrick.
And I'm Brandon.
And this is the brand new flat switch panel from Wired HDH.
And this thing is so cool. Each switch is rated at 1,000,000 button presses per switch. Cool place to put your labels on it for customization. This thing is razor thin, and by the way, it's a programmable switch panel. Anything that takes a switch, it's got it. But the first question I've got is, where the heck are we putting this thing?
Well, let me show you.
Excellent.
I can mount this anywhere. It's really cool, but what makes this different than all the other toggles and switches I can get on the market today?
That's a great question. Let me show you. Right here, what we have set up is 8 switches geared to represent what you have on the market today: rockers, toggles, buttons. The first thing that pops out is just the sheer footprint, the size of the area that this takes up on your dash. This is an on-off switch. It will always be an on-off switch. It cannot be a momentary button. Additionally, when you wire these up, you make the decision to wire them battery direct or wire to your ignition, just the functionality. What we have here on the Wired HDH flat switch panel.
This looks much better than the switches over there.
Right, the footprint is smaller, very sexy setup. This is the same 8 switches. Has the same functionality of anything that those will have, and it has the programmability to change the functionality. So let me show you a quick example. On the winch, we have a winch set up right now, and the button is actually set up as an on-off button. Well, that's not okay for a winch purpose, right? So what we're going to do is we're actually going to enter into a program feature. Literally takes 5 seconds, and we're going to change the functionality of that switch to now be a momentary switch. Now when we use our winch, it's going to function properly.
Instead of having to completely tear out a button, put in a different type of button, I can do that in 5 seconds.
You're exactly right.
Very cool. You said something about battery direct, ignition. Now, would I have to rewire it all for that still with this?
That's a great point. So we've got a set of fog lights set up there. This represents our ignition. So we've got ignition on, ignition off. Right now we've got that set of fog lights set up to be on ignition only. What that means is our ignition is off, we don't have the functionality. Ignition is on, there's our fog lights. What we just talked about is rewiring. That's completely unnecessary with this. We'll just enter back into that same programming mode, literally 5 seconds. The LEDs above actually tell us what programming mode it's in. Right now we can see that that LED says that it is wired to ignition only. We take that off. We now have fog lights that work whether our key is in or not.
So I just saved all that work under the hood, rewiring, and I did that in 10 seconds with this.
Exactly right.
So in the 2 different programming modes, you get to decide the way the switch works. The way the switch works, meaning is that you push it and it comes on, you push it and it goes off, or it's momentary. So it goes off as soon as you release it.
Now, when he's saying when it works, we're talking about ignition versus battery. Now this is going to act as our ignition switch, and we've already got this set up to where you can see that switch right there is when the key is off, it is activated. However, this switch here, nothing. Turn on the ignition, now we've got power.